This is another episode of Reflections, and this one is going to be with FORG1VEN, who actually I did already do a Reflections with, but that was back in the old days when I was on Gamers, so it was a lifetime ago, FORG1VEN. It was many years ago. So we're going to do another one now. Now, to skip forwards to where we are, the last interview we did was where you'd only played the one split in LCS. You played with Copenhagen Wolves. They had sat out a split. I think it was even during that split was when we actually did the interview. So no one knew what the future would be, but you knew that you wanted to play in LCS again. And you hoped, I can't remember what the timeline of it is, but you hoped after Worlds you can get on a good team and get a good offer, etc. I want to go back to that point in time initially. When Worlds finishes every year, in fact, usually as soon as teams get knocked out, like some of them, even when they get knocked out from their regional, teams start thinking, right, well, we're going to need a new player at some point, and there's almost like a rush where people are worried that like someone's going to contract the player that they wanted. So it's actually quite a brief time window where people have to find teams, etc. Was there like a whole bunch of teams that you were talking to that were talking to you? Was it SK like the obvious one to pick from this bunch? Did you have other good options that you could have gone down a different road?
Not really, because back then it was really actually a gamble decision that I took. So I remember I was very close to signing either to a Turkish team or to a Brazilian team. And sorry for laughing at this numbers. And one day before I actually was going to commit for it, I get messaged on Twitter from a third-party guy, and they asked me what would my ideal SK lineup would be. And 1 hour later, I was speaking with a manager, and 1 day later, I signed the contract with SK. So it paid out. I mean, it was really risky, but that's actually true. I didn't have that many of the offers back then.
If you hadn't had a good LCS offer, you would have really gone to Turkey or Brazil.
And even if I didn't, I would have stayed to play Go for Rolls in Greece. And I did it already once. I mean, when I got out of CW, and they prevented me from playing with Gambit or with another team in the middle of a split, like in London or whatever, I literally played, to just keep it safe, I played soloq on West, and I also played Go for Rolls in Greece and Europe East for 3 or 4 months. And I played a local Greek tournament, and then I got to SK.
So okay, listen, Turkey's one thing. I know fuck all about any of these countries. I don't know any of them, but I can't imagine Turkey's too insanely different from Greece. It's not bad. You could at least handle it. Come on, are you telling me? Listen, are you being real? There's no way you could go to fucking Brazil and just live there for 4 months with all those people and just speak only in English and just chill out in Brazil. I bet you couldn't. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
I don't know, but it actually was. It's an adventure, man, and I'm still 22, 23. I want to explore the world in a way. Until at some point, I will just have to stay in my suburb in the place I live in Greece. So it would be nice. I even wanted to go to NA, even if let's say they speak English there, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Different lifestyle. It's a different country. It's different. Everything is different. There's nothing is the same.
So, okay, when you got picked up by SK, when you first heard what the lineup is going to be, because obviously they changed and they got Fox as the mid laner. That was it. They just changed Fox to mid laner and you came into the team. What did you actually think before you played with the team? Did you know much about Fox before? Did you have any idea as to how good the team could be?
I mean, I saw them playing at Worlds, and I played against them in Spring Split, and I spoke to them. I played some scrims with them before they took a decision and they went further with me. And I realized that it will be really good. It was actually a perfect deal for me because it was actually a plug and play. I mean, I couldn't have fit perfectly than I did in SK. So I just they went for it, and we passed some obstacles, let's say, and Fox was good. I mean, I trusted what SK said because I trusted Sven. I trusted him as a player, and Sven wanted Fox really badly, and I was I mean, if you want him, I guess you're right. So, and he was right. So it was a perfect match, in my opinion.
One of the things that people kept saying in these news stories that came out, problems in SK during that split, maybe roster move, it always came back to nRated and the perception was that Forgiven, even if he respects nRated as a player and his brain for the game and how long he's been a player, that Forgiven really, really wants like a dominant laning support. He wants someone where like then the bot lane will just completely smash all of them. Is there anything to this?
It was really, I mean, I don't know, like I don't know how to say it, but I was actually the one keeping nRated for one more split. I mean, I don't know if this sounds as a surprise or as a lie to some people, but the SK organization had the intention to actually replace nRated after a spring split, or even before it. And with nRated, I had the best relationship out of everyone in the team. That's all. And actually, we were the closest. Like, I mean, together or like in comparison to other people. I mean, that's actually the surprising factor of SK is that like I liked people and I really respected them. Like, for example, Freddy is the player that I learned most out of every player that I have played with on any team. And nRated for me, except the fact that he was a great friend, he was really supportive. I mean, I asked him to do things and he did it. He didn't back off. He didn't say I can't or like I can't play anymore. I mean, he was motivated. He did stuff, and I never asked him to get replaced. Like, I mean, whatever people said or heard, I don't know how to say it, but it was like a fucking lie. I mean, the true story was that I was going to get kicked from SK or replaced for a week or maybe more. I don't know. And like Tabs went for Elements, pretty much, and there was no better player. It's the same story that happened almost in the Copenhagen Wolves, in a way. So I sat there, I played the rest of the remaining season while knowing that most likely I would be out of SK. Not because I wanted it, but because I would be forced to do that. And like we lost from H2K, from UL, and like we lost from UL, like the 2 games played were really bad, like we losses, but like we lost a Baron again, and CW we lost also a Baron that cost us the entire series. And like if this might happen, I don't think any course of history will be the same as it is now.
So in the regular split, up until IEM, things were going really great, like super good. And then there was like a little bit before IEM, there was maybe some minor problems, but in theory, you're still coming in really strong. People thought, hey, it's possible they could even be the best team in the West here. When all those first games were like pretty much the dream start, where you were like, we were never even dying, you were getting insane KDA, etc. Did you really think that like that could continue the whole split? Like we could just be the absolute best team?
I don't know. Like I say that because I saw how people were behaving and how much they were playing the game and their motivation, and like somewhere around even before IM, things started to go down a way. Like people were less motivated to play. I was flying back to Greece back and forth for some reasons, like which I shouldn't say it now. And like we had also some problems with the internet. I mean, we had some problems like not playing, and this actually destroyed us in a way because it disrupted our whole tempo. Like before we lost to Fnatic, I think we were like 6-0, 7-0, I don't remember. And, like we made like 3 losses in a row, and then IM came, and then we made the other 2 losses in a row. And actually the crucial point in this SK team was the loss against Tigers. Because like when we played this game, and I saw these bans, I instantly realized that if we won this game, this scenario would have never happened again. We would have continued further into the tournament, maybe even winning it. Instead, we lost when we crumbled. We lost the next match when we crumbled further.
So you think the fact that everyone else in the tournament could sort of see, if we just do those bans, we've got a really good chance. That's what kind of turned things against you.
From these bans, from this point with the bans, and along with the point that the team was already losing a lot. Like I think in the last let's say 7 matches, we were literally 1-6. Like from the match from Fnatic that we lost in like week 4 or 5. Then IM, and then we started winning again, and then we started losing again. But like everything was not the same, and it was many reasons. It wasn't just that, but I think the major reason was that. And we weren't the same anymore. I mean, when we were coming to practice in the studio, we were all so motivated, like, I play with this guy again, and like, it's so good, and like, we're gonna stomp people, and we're gonna learn things, and like, okay, we're gonna play like that in LCS. And we were winning LCS, like, we were going to the studio, and we knew that we were going to win, whatever happens, literally, the first weeks. But like, we didn't even think that it was possible that we would lose, because even if our scrim results were like 50-50, or like even a bit worse, a bit better, it was so evident, but the improvement was there, but the quality of the team was there, and the players, like, it was coming up, it was coming out eventually, like, we knew it, and it paid out, but up to a point, apparently.
So even though IEM went really badly, you were still able to win a bunch of games. You still finished the split in first place. How did this team not make it to the final of LCS?
We didn't have good preparation, pretty much. I mean,
in what sense?
The big months, not mostly the months, but like the picks that we made in like the 2 matches that we lost against UL, like everything that happened from this point that I told you before and afterwards, it was like a pattern that we never managed to break down. And for example, then also our team was really hit from patches continuously. Like I remember patches when like champions that Freddy was really good at, like carried champions from top lane like Azir, Cassiopeia, Lissandra, all those vanished, and along with it our lane swap advantage vanished, because this lane swap thing that like give one camp to the top laner, make him lane while being level ahead, and then like he even snowballs the bot lane by himself. Like we managed to actually find it out somehow randomly in one of our scrims. And like then mid lane patch hit, and then like Fox lost his champion pool. Like, I mean, we didn't even have any idea what was good, I mean, literally, it was fucking chaos. And then like Cinder Hulk came out, like tanks in, and then I get nerfed from it drastically. And literally the only role that didn't change was actually support. And like maybe even like the AD carry was starting to change from then. Like our team was actually a big victim of the patches.
So was
got
this
literally destroyed from
was there any kind of issue in SK in terms of coaching then? Because it sounds like the first style you had in SK worked really well, it was working awesome, but it sounds like there was issues adapting.
But SK never had a coach, even before me. Like, I mean, there were splits with Jesse and Candy Panda, we didn't have a coach. I mean, Incarnation
Wasn't the coach supposed to be in a flame?
He was more of a manager. He wasn't a coach. I mean,
okay, so there's In a Flame, and then there was the psychologist guy. Someone must be doing the pick bans and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, nRated was doing it along with some other people, pretty much. So like whoever had to input something about the team that we were going to play against. Sometimes it was me, sometimes it was like Freddy. But like I can say mostly it was like Freddy and nRated doing the ping bans.
So then why would SK wins all these games? They finish first in the split. You're the MVP. Why is SK like, let's get rid of Forgiven. Let's get someone else. Let's kick out Forgiven. Let's break up the team. Why?
The guy that wanted me the most in the team and pushed for it the most before I joined didn't enjoy to play the game with me. I mean, I guess he valued like fun or something more than winning or doing stuff. I don't know. And to be honest, I can't say he is wrong or something, because
why do you say it like that?
When you play with someone that you don't like, someone that you said that you don't like, and in the end, like you go through a long road and you don't even win like the final, or you don't even go to the final, when the results are obviously telling you like, you know, like something is wrong. And if you're displeased with it, you either change or you're just going with it while you are being constantly annoyed. And I can't fault this person, because I actually really I don't have anything bad to say for any SK player, not because I'm like a PR guy or whatever, but because literally I have nothing bad to say. That's all.
But why would you describe it like that? Why do you just say like the player who wanted me? Why do you leave it like a mystery like that?
Do you want it to say name?
There's only 4 players.
Yeah, so everyone can go and make like a 1, 2, 3, 4 like random pick a card and.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think everyone knows who it is, mate. So I don't think it matters. Anyway, so. Was there even a possibility at the end of the split that like Forgiven just stays in SK?
Yeah, I mean, I told you that I had the choice to. I was being presented with a choice to stay in SK and change 1 or 2 players. I think only one.
So why wouldn't you stay?
Because when someone gives me opportunity to do something and he actually gives me, let's say, the whole name or my whole reputation, the only thing that I can do about this guy, even if he doesn't like him anymore, is to actually make him keep his job. Because if I stayed in SK, this guy had to go out, and I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I mean, SW.
Oh, this is
like,
bullshit, mate.
No, wait.
Okay.
No, this is bullshit because there is a precedent about it.
Okay.
When I was in CW,
Yeah.
SW, there was the exact same thing again.
Okay.
Like when I had this controversy with Young, blah blah, and I didn't stay in CW. I also had the opportunity to build CW without counter in Young Buck.
Do you like losing? Do you enjoy losing?
No, wait. I don't value that much fun, but I obviously value a lot, at least in ethics, when someone picks me out of a fucking bullshit solo queue ladder what I play with, and he takes me to challenger, he makes me a good player, let's say, and we win tournaments, we do stuff, we do shit, we go to LCS. Like, okay, we lost in playoffs with CW, sure, but this guy picked me when no one else did. So the only thing that I can do for him back is to actually make him keep his job. Like, literally, and I mean, I wasn't, let's say, motivated to stay in CW, it wasn't on my hand to stay in SK.
You already that doesn't make sense. First of all, you already paid that guy back. You were his teammate. You were a fucking awesome teammate. You kept him in LCS. There you go. You've done enough. There you go.
This is your point of view.
Yeah? And then you're in SK, one of the best teams. Why the fuck are you keeping this other guy who doesn't even want you in the team? And you just go, right, okay, mate, have fun in another team. We'll be getting a new player and we'll win LCS. If you want to win, surely it's about winning, right?
I didn't want to change anyone from SK. It's just that the player didn't want to play with me. And the only solution that I was presented with is that either stay and he goes, or either he stays and I go. And even it was my choice. But
so then you're like, okay, well, I'm the MVP, so you have good luck finding a new team. I'll be staying in SK.
Unlucky. Like, what else can I do? Next time will be better. Like, but still, as I said, like,
okay,
like people need to have ethics. I mean, at some point, like, I mean,
okay.
I don't know how else to present it or to say. Like, why would I even lie? I don't know. It's people to judge. In the end, like, I mean, there is history. There's the stuff you can find on the internet. I don't know. Maybe in the end, I'm the guy brought from the hell to destroy the world, I guess.
Could be.
I don't know.
So here's my question then. Why do you put all these weird restrictions on yourself? Like when you were in Copenhagen Wolves, after then, you could have joined a team for the summer split, but you decide, no, I'm not going to. Like, I want to wait and I want to get a different opportunity. Then you get a different opportunity. Then you could stay in that team and you're like, no, I'll go and join a different team. You take a massive gamble and go to Gambit. Why is every single move that FORG1VEN makes like a huge gamble where it could just end his career?
Was I being presented with other choices in my career and I don't know it? I mean, I always try to take matters into my own hands. Like I tried to went to North America 2 times in a row, and 2 times in a row it didn't went out. So I was forced to stay in Europe. When in Europe, Fnatic is winning every single split because apparently the players or teams there don't. I don't know. Like they rather let Fnatic win everything, even with their roster, with a new roster, with a future roster. I don't know. So I'm just working with the choices that I have, or that I can see that they can possibly work. I mean,
so at the end of last split,
sorry for interrupting. I mean, I could have stayed in CW,
yeah,
and play one more split. What would this change? I could have stayed in SK, and I could have played into them instead of Gambit. What would this change again?
What does that mean? What does it change? If you stay in the summer split,
nothing.
If you stay in the summer split, if you stay in the summer split and you completely body everyone in the summer split, so 2 splits in a row you've wrecked everyone, then your chances of going to NA is way higher.
In CW?
Yeah.
No, because when in CW we reached the highest point that we ever did. Like, I mean,
it doesn't matter what you achieve. You're trying to show other people how good you are.
Dude, when me and Amazing left, from that point and after, CW never reached that kind of, let's say, potential or like the ability to destroy teams or like to throw them out. Like, and now CW got relegated like 1.5 years after. I mean, there was no higher. So the only thing that could have happened is that there was only down. You go down, you more and more and more until you reach the bottom of the barrel.
So, okay, I mean, last split at the end of it, when you left SK, Freeze told this whole scenario. In fact, he even said it on Somebody Insight, where basically, like, SK was talking to him and they were like, maybe you can come and join SK. And then I think basically it was something along the lines of, like, they weren't, he made it sound like what had happened is because in the past he'd wanted to join SK and they hadn't been interested or they hadn't given him a trial or something. In this scenario, now they do want him to join, but because they weren't like eager enough, they didn't like come to him and like beg, like, oh please, please freeze, we need you, you're the best, and like pamper him, and be like, look, if you join the team, you'll be a superstar, and because they weren't like putting enough of an effort in, even though he could have joined SK. Instead, he was sort of like, fuck that, I'll just stay in CW then, as a way to almost like show that he's like mad with them, but if you see now as an outsider, you're not Freeze, okay? You can see as an outsider, it was obviously way worse for him to play in Copenhagen Wolves this split. It was fucking terrible, and basically he had to like solo win every fucking game. So you and I, who aren't affected by his emotions, know he probably should have just joined SK, even if it wasn't the perfect scenario, even if they hadn't really shown all the interest, because it just would have been better for him as an individual player. Do you agree?
Freeze would have joined SK if SK didn't reject him 1 year ago when I was also trying out for the spot, or Niels was trying out for the SK spot too. Okay. But instead they went with me, and they didn't like him, like they thought that Freeze was toxic. Apparently this keeps happening not with Freeze, but with many players in Europe. Like everyone is getting a label, you're toxic, and it's really hard for people to play on teams. Because everyone is a fucking baby, apparently, in Europe. I don't know. Maybe everyone needs the guy that says, oh, you're a good player every single day. Yeah, you're doing nothing wrong. Everything is better. I don't know. It's side rant or whatever. And Freeze, he was really glad that he found a team that they believed in him. And this happened through chance, because Freeze helped CW to keep their spot in LCS or like into the Challenger ladder. Like they were forced to play Challenger ladder to bait their owner into doing something. I don't know how actually the story is in CW, and then like why would you join a team that like literally some months ago these exact people in the team didn't like you? Do you think something would have changed just because you're a good player? No, it would be a matter of time because the same shit would have happened again. So he just used them as a leverage to increase his salary in CW, which is the exact fact that happened. It's this story.
So you don't think if Freeze had joined SK that they could have been a really good team this split?
They would have been higher, but would they have went, let's say, to Worlds? It wouldn't have been into Freeze's hands to manage his own luck or destiny, because Freeze is a really good player. He proved it. I mean, he wanted to do it for so long, like when he was in NIP and shit, and he finally got a chance, even from a low placed LCS team, and he did it. Why would he join SK? There was not even a single reason except the fact that SK were a better team.
That's a pretty good reason.
Yeah, but I already explained you just before why he didn't do it and why he shouldn't. I think if everyone would have been in Freeze's shoes would have done the same choice, would have selected the same choice.
So let me ask you this then. So I described Freeze's situation there. As an outsider, assuming I don't know anything about you, I only have seen things in public that you said on Ask FM, read interviews, is it correct to assume these similar things have happened to FORG1VEN? Like there were teams where, hey, listen, maybe not NA teams, better teams in Europe or whatever, where you had a chance, you could have joined them or you could have tried out to join them, and something about the way they dealt with it like did the same thing as Freeze. It like pissed you off and you were like, oh, I don't want to do a trial, or I don't want to have to join when you said no to me before. Has this ever happened to you?
Not really. I mean, I wasn't being considered from many teams when I was in CW. Like I was considered from a lot of teams when I went out of SK. I mean, there is a difference there. Like the difference is that in CW was like a low-bob player that just joined the LCS. And
okay, so like, I mean after you left SK then, because that's obviously when you're MVP. There should be people.
Yeah, exactly. I earned reputation, so this reputation actually made the difference. It wasn't that I suddenly became the best player one split after. It's just that I had an individual title to actually bring out people that like this guy is good. So. Like he is not just a player that plays on an LCS on like 8th place team. I don't know.
So how the fuck did you end up on Gambit?
Because if I didn't, since NA option went out, I had to stay in Europe pretty much. So it was again, I was being forced to either stay and play for a low-placed supposedly team in Europe, which was Gambit and one more team. Otherwise, I would be forced to go in Greece and take a split off and play Go Forwards again. That's actually the truth, man. Like, I don't know. This keeps happening all over and over. And this was also the summer split. So I just took a decision, bad or not, to try out to go for Gambit and see how it goes for Worlds and shit. I mean, sadly didn't, but at least I tried. It was an improvement from 1 year ago when I didn't even try. So
true. I guess in that sense, you did do more this time. Okay.
Yeah, but this led to nowhere again.
If you've ever watched Salmon Insight, you know that I fucking hate people who talk about how well they do in scrims, right? Because I'm so sick of that bullshit of people like, oh, in scrims, we're like, all these fucking Rockat guys telling me that for like 1 year, like, oh, fucking scrims are sick, mate. And then in the games, they're getting bodied by fucking unicorns of love. So don't tell me that you just did good in scrims and so you definitely do well. But every fucking person in Gambit kept telling me, oh, God, these scrims, man, we're beating Fnatic.
Yeah.
We're the only team that can beat Fnatic. And even other teams were saying, like, Gambit's, they're the team that can come on. It's going to be like Fnatic, Origin, Gambit. Like, Gambit can be the third team. Did the timing of when you got banned really just come at, like, the exact moment when Gambit was getting really good?
I don't think so. I think the maximum that the team would have got is 4th place. I don't know if things would have changed in the best of 5, but certainly things didn't change from how they were in the beginning of the split or after, in the middle, let's say, towards the end. I mean, the ban, I can partially say, even if I'll obviously have responsibility for what happened, I can partially say that it was being used as an excuse in the end for a failure of the team. Like, for example, in the first week when we had the internet problems, etc., etc. I don't think our team, what I saw, and because I was playing like until the moment that I got banned, suspended, that I don't know. I mean, it was really sad because actually every single player in our team individually is really good. But this is exactly the point. Individually, like in scrims, nobody felt like fear, let's say, or pressure or anything, and they will just steamroll teams that are now on the championship or qualified for it, for the World Championship. And the transition from the scrims to LCS was a fucking nightmare, because let's say I'm playing the same game for so many years, but I'm able to transition properly from scrims to LCS. I'm doing the exact same things. It's a pattern, like a robot. I do the exact same things there, I do the exact same things in LCS. From lane phase to team fights to whatever. And then I see people in my team and I'm like, are those the people that I live with every day? I don't know. And this happened a lot of times, and some were around. I mean, they had faith, but I didn't.
So is this a general problem in Europe? Because this is the same story, basically, that everyone's heard about NukeDuck, which is that in scrims, everyone says he just fucking goes ham, he just wrecks everyone, he's just like 1v1ing the other mid laner. And then you see, as you see in these playoff games, yes, he still does well sometimes, but he's not this like monster player. He's just like a good player, like above average. Suddenly his levels drops off. Is this a problem in LCS, do you think?
I don't think it's only in Europe. I think it's in every region. I think this keeps happening a lot, and I don't know how, let's say, to help someone or like to think what can the solution about it can be. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it keeps happening, and I have seen it not only on Rockat, not only on Gambit. Giants were the same game. Giants would literally steamroll opponents in scrims. Elements will do the same too. Literally.
Elements was winning scrims.
At some period, at some points of time, like I don't know how to say in English, but there were certain periods in time that Elements would literally go unbeaten on a day, on a week. I don't know. I was playing against this team sometimes. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I mean, we're losing at 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or like, even if the game reaches a higher time mark, we'll still lose somehow. And then you see this team in LCS, and it's like, are these people ghosts? Are these people like Gambit transformed or Rockat transformed? Like, I don't know. It keeps happening a lot, and not only this season, and not only in this region. So,
are there any players that are like you then, like you're describing, like you think they actually do play the same way in scrims, same way in soloq as they do in the LCS games?
Couple.
He's one.
Betty tries to do the same. From other teams, let's say, like FORG1VEN does the same. There are plenty of players that are trying, but there is a distinct like quality from trying to succeeding. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when Matrix, like it was a quote on Matrix, like stop trying to hit me and hit me. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but like it's maybe scrims. Like you are just sitting in front of your PC, like in your room, with your coffee, with your girlfriend, with your team. You're playing. You don't give a fuck if you lose. I mean, at least if you lose, not by forfeiting in 10 minutes. You don't feel pressure. You don't feel anxiety. You don't feel stress. You don't feel like you have something to prove or like 200 people are watching you. I don't know. I guess this has to be the reason or one of the reasons. I don't know.
What about when you joined Gambit? So the hype, because you just MVP of the last split. One of the things people always said, like I referenced with the nRated thing, is like, oh, imagine if FORG1VEN actually had like aggressive playmaking support. Now, admittedly, Edward today is not Edward of 2013, okay? The world has moved on, things have changed, but he still has that reputation, okay? Like the Thresh player. So people were like, wow, this will be awesome if he joins and plays with Edward. But then it's almost like we never got to see that. Because he joined, and then almost immediately, Gambit's just this top lane-centric team, and everything's going top lane, and why did we never get to see this what everyone thought they were going to get in FORG1VEN joining Gambit?
It was the meta in the team. That's it, literally. Like, it was the meta. Like, I mean, we were trying to play aggressively on bot lane, let's say. Okay? And we are, let's say, winning the bot lane by a really huge mark before the 3 minutes. And this keeps happening for many years in a row. With, let's say, supports that I played or like the opponents I played against, it kept happening. And then the jungler will come and he will literally play second support in the lane, either on scrims, either on LCS, at least on the first weeks, okay? Or either even first play, then the top laner will always find an opportunity to do something on bot lane, or like they will formal collapse, or like teams will literally chase us, or like there were all, like, I mean, I can find excuses, for sure. And those excuses are really visible in the replays you can find out from LCS. And then there is a team that like, give resources, and okay, take a step back, and okay. And at some point, I was just a Sivir bot in my team. Like, I mean, to prove to people that I can actually give them, let's say, tools or like things, or like, you want to be a carry, go on, be a carry. Like, I mean, take responsibility, lead me to victory, lead us to victory. I mean, I just naturally took a step back. So did Eddie. I mean, I fought for it in the first weeks, but in the end, I didn't want to cause more conflict. I just wanted like a place which I could work, and I would just rather give these young people, or let's say, the ability to carry, like to be the front runners, to lead the show. And there also comes the jungler thing. I mean, I had the luck as a player to play with, let's say, one of the best 3 junglers in Europe in general. Like, I mean, also with Jankos and other people. Like, I mean, Amazing, Zen, Diamond. But Diamond had the... I don't know. I think he's tunnel visioning on top lane. And this also has to do with our strategy. Well, either in Gambit or Diamond proc strategy or some strategy, I don't know. After a point, I gave up.
Wait a minute, what was that thing you said before where you were like, I'll prove that like you guys can have your chance to carry and hit, you have all the resources, you carry.
Do you remember how much criticism I received throughout the season for like FORG1VEN has to stop being a carry, and like he has to stop farming in the AD carry meta, and he has to be a team player, and he has to play Sivir and Kalista and all this shit what I heard. Like, I mean, in the first weeks I tried to play. Like, I mean, I tried to do my thing, let's say, okay? It worked, but it didn't lead to victory. And after a point, after the coach came in, and after, like, I realized that I wanted to help, and this wasn't the best way to help to achieve something, I just gave up a lot of stuff. I started playing supportive AD carry champions, which they could actually late game carry, but I never reached that point, individually at least. And I just gave up things. I stopped pushing my lane. I stopped demanding the jungler to be bot lane or like to play around it. Everything was on the top side of the map. Everything, literally everything.
And you think that was a good move?
I never said anything. But I don't know if this was a good move, but surely it was a move that at least to myself too, because the things that I did this split, I never did them before. I never believed that I could have actually done it. And what is actually a really good thing for Sons. I mean, he's the first guy that actually made me work with a group, with the people there, not just by, you know what, I'm the best in my role, so just help me. Like, I mean, let's say that. And it didn't work. I don't know. I shouldn't be the one judging, I guess, but I tried. That's all I can say. I did my part.
Okay, here's the thing, right? In life, one of the reasons why people would probably think I'm an asshole, right, if they knew me in real life, etc., in certain circumstances, like work circumstances, is that if there's ever a scenario where it's like a group project or something where like I have to rely on other people, I will never give other people the power to let me fail if I could succeed if I take it myself, okay? So even if they think like, wow, everything has to be your way and you have to be in charge, yeah, that's because I'm not going to let you have the tools to do everything, and then I have to hope you do it, and if you fail, we both fail. So instead I take control myself and I say, okay, even if it means you don't like me, we're going to succeed because I'm going to do what has to be done and we're going to do it this way. Why would you give up control like that? Why would you allow someone else to let you fail?
I already told you, like, fill in my shoes, okay? Now,
yeah,
you're a player, but you're consistently winning every single lane.
Yeah.
I'll just speak about, let's say, lane phase in the start, before it's my point. You're winning every single lane phase, no matter what the champion, or the matchup, or runes, or whatever, okay? And then you're joining on a team where the plan and the meta also, at the same point, is to snowball the top part of the map, which is good, okay? It's acceptable.
Okay.
Sure. Then, even if you try individually to do your thing, I mean, me and Edward will literally stomp bot lanes, and we will, in the start, we were rage quitting scrims because we were really bad. 2 weeks and 3 weeks after, people were rage quitting scrims instantly after like 2 or 3 scrims. And we will do that. On LCS, we were never allowed to do anything related to that, except with a game against SK, I remember. I think the first game is against SK. We weren't allowed, and even from the meta and from our team. That's why I said it. I want to play aggro in the lane. I will get fucking camped from the start to the end. I even stopped pushing my lane. Like with Edward, like we managed to find ways to make our lane work under multiple pressure, and we gave resources anywhere else. Like we were like, I don't know how else to say it, and then you have people saying, you know what, FORG1VEN, like give up. I mean, in a way, like let us do our thing. And I'm like, okay. I mean, you know, like you're like say 3 or 4 people. Sure, man. And I also faced a lot of criticism, and like I also had something to prove. I mean, it was too much for me to handle at some point. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe my confidence got shattered too. I mean, when I played against those people, that I don't know. Like, I just have no answer. Like, I have multiple answers. I have multiple excuses about it, but it's a combination of events. It's not actually one reason.
Aren't you someone though who can't? It sounds like you're someone who used to agree with my philosophy though, because I heard a story from SK where I was talking to someone from SK and I was talking about the scenario you had in the first split, okay, and I was doing the same debate that people have seen me have on So Many Insight. Like, I think Fox is overrated and he's like an okay player, but people thought he was like some superstar mid. And I heard this story that FORG1VEN would literally sometimes just be like, Fox, I'm taking all this mid farm now. Like, get out the lane, I'm taking it. I'm gonna carry this game. This used to be your philosophy, right?
No, it's just sometimes like when I take a wave out of any other lanes for reasons that, like, if I'm, let's say, the major threat at this point of the game, yeah. I will even continue to be a major threat. I will try to increase my lead even further to up to a point that it's not even controllable, or like to buy an item or whatever. Like, so when you aren't that kind of player on Gambit, I didn't want more. I was like, pick me with something that you think it works. Like take the advantage, let's say, big ban phase. Give me the lane swap, lane phase. I don't know. We will get out of it. We will win it regardless. We will win it. Like, I mean, we'll just take a CS lead, or like we'll play it better. We will freeze lane better for our top laner. I don't know. There were so many things. And I was just that guy. I was just sitting in my corner after a while, and I accepted my fate. In the start, I thought about it a lot. But in the end, other people prevailed. And good or not, I don't know. The thing is, he was my coach, let's say, and they were people that I trusted in the team. I believed they were good players, so I just gave them out of my heart. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, sorry.
I've got a meta-related question for you, okay? Here's the basic premise. Everyone in fucking League of Legends, as soon as they hear, it's like they think there's a secret to win the whole game. As soon as they hear, oh, this is the meta, everyone thinks, right, we all have to do that. Everyone in the whole world must do that. That is the best thing to do right now. Everyone must change everything they do, all do that. I don't actually accept the premise that the meta at the time was that the top lane has to carry and the AD carry can't carry. Here's why. Are you ready? So let's go through some teams, shall we? Team Liquid. Best player on Team Liquid, AD carry. Putting a lot of pressure on the bot lane. Let's keep going. Gravity. Best player, AD carry, Altec. A lot of pressure on bot lane. Keep going through different teams. There's tons of teams based around those positions. So why is Gambit and other teams, why does it have to be the top lane only?
Because we prevailed. I mean, that's how, let's say, Diamond is used to run the show. And Cabosard is a really good player. I actually admire Cabosard.
Sure.
He's like, he reminds me in a way of myself. He's fucking arrogant, but he's really fucking good in the game. And I admire someone that, let's say, will come into my face and say, you know what, I'm better than you and I'm gonna stomp you. I mean, he didn't do that, but he showed me that he wanted to do that, and he actually succeeded on doing that. And why would I go against people that were against my point of view? Like, the only thing I would have done is make things worse, you know? I mean, I reached a point in Gambit, like, I mean, I literally lost for the first time in my career, for so many years that I remember myself, not even to League of Legends. I lost completely confidence in myself. I felt like it was like 4 people playing a game, and there was like a guy manipulating his way through in the game, and it was like, can you sub me, like, for a week? And like this week I got banned. I got suspended, and I don't know. I mean, it was really heartbreaking. I mean, this split was really a lesson in multiple ways to me, but as always, there's always a sad story, a sad ending to it. So
did they get to you? Did they break you? Like, will we never see Forgiven again? Will we never see, like, the guy who just was like, I'm the best, I'm going to carry, I'm going to be the best player. If someone else doesn't work as hard, I'm going to crush them. They're going to destroy the game. Is that guy gone forever?
Like, I don't know how to answer that, but I can provide you 2 examples. Like, when I came to this show some time ago, I mean, on SI, sorry, I said, like, to teams, can you please ban out Caitlyn, Lucian, Graves?
Yeah.
To players, and let's see how it goes. Okay.
How did it go?
Take that first. And then this is about, like, the other guys that I play against in Europe. If you ask every single one about them, on how I operate, let's say, in lane or whatever, I always contest every single creep. I'm probably the most aggressive player in history in bot lane in Europe. And after a point, I became a guy that just solves the wave and just pick me Sivir. I mean, I played champions that I never thought I would play. I did stuff that I never thought I would do. Because I believe in myself. I have a confidence, I have arrogance, I don't know how to say it. I believe in myself so much that when I will play a game and I will have power on it, like I'm fed or whatever, I know that it is up to me. And most of the times, I know that I will never let my team down, because the feeling that I hate the most in the world is like someone like has his hand on my shoulder and like doing that, you know? Like, I mean, I let him down. I just hate it, I despise it. And I always try to be a man of my word. So in the game, I'll be, let's say, the carry of my words or whatever. So I don't know. I try to explain as much as possible.
When I saw in the past, especially in the spring split, on your Ask FM, people would ask you stuff like, you know, what do you think of the other AD carries? And one of the things you were really bold about was saying, like, you know, yeah, you respect for, like, Rekkles, good, he has skills, all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. But, like, he doesn't have proper game impact. Like, he's not, like, a carry player. You were quite forthright on this. In fact, you were saying stuff like you used to think Tabs was better than him. I think you picked Freeze as well. You, like, made a whole hierarchy, okay? It sounded like, at the time, yeah, you thought Rekkles was overhyped. What do you think of Rekkles now?
What do you want to say? I will stick to my opinion, as it is for many years now.
Nothing changed this split?
Congratulations to him. He won his 2nd split in a row. What's up to it? I don't know what else to say further. He's a decent player. I mean, and by decent doesn't mean that he's bad or he's the best.
Sure.
He's good. That's all. I think there are better players than Rekkles, and I always said that.
So
and he's the one trying to establish.
Which AD
the
carries
thing is,
at the
he's the
moment?
he's the one trying to establish like a rivalry with me. I never
Really?
did that.
What makes you think that?
I mean, have you seen the videos? I don't know.
What did he say?
Like you can search them on YouTube. I'm not the guy saying anything, but I respect him. He's a difficult opponent, but up to it. I will overcome him.
So who do you think is a better AD carry in the West than Rekkles?
From Europe, it's Hjarnan and Freeze. I think top 2 players for the split. For North America, I didn't show it that much. I guess Doublelift is good. I don't know for Pricklet. And like C9 are like failed really hard. So I guess and Daltek, Doublelift and Daltek for me.
So what's interesting is when Rekkles was back in Fnatic, obviously Fnatic's got all this hype behind them. He did an AMA and someone asked him for his top 4 AD carries in EU and LA. And for EU, he didn't even name you. He just picked the others. In fact, he picked Niels, he picked Hjarnan. And then he did say, though, honourable mention, FORG1VEN is probably the best individual player we have in Europe. Like, not even AD carry, individual player. But then he put, but he has too narrow of a champion pool to be included. What do you think of that as analysis?
Well, everyone that wants to see me going down, let's say, they will always find excuses. It will either be my toxicity, supposedly. It will either be my champion pool. It will be the fact that I take farm, let's say.
Is it the AD carry supposed to take farm? I've never understood that criticism. The AD carry is supposed to take farm and try and get fucking huge. What's the deal with that criticism?
Don't tell that to me, but I don't know. Rekkles was the one that was getting really emo for many years in a row in scrims. And he was the one trying to set up rivalry. And as I said, I respect him as a player. He's good, but he's young. And
do you think the rivalry aspect for him maybe comes from the fact that you like replaced him in CW? And the idea was the whole storyline when he was in Copenhagen Wolves was like, wow, he's such a brilliant player, but of course he's going to go to Fnatic and, you know, they'll never get as good a player. And then you basically directly came in after him, you know?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's just that after a point you get really bored that a player, let's say, supposedly, I'll just add supposedly, and it's up to people to judge, you know?
Yep.
So, supposedly, let's say the Rekkles is better than me in team fighting. I don't know. I just say something.
Okay.
And I'm better, let's say, at laning and at blank pressure, at snowballing, blah, blah, blah. Well, like, if you were Rekkles and you were, like, in the previous split with Elements and you saw FORG1VEN, like, doing stuff, wouldn't you be mad a bit? Because wouldn't you consider yourself equal to FORG1VEN or equal to Freeze or who was the second team? Hjarnan. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, when I try to think about someone, I always try to see it through his point of view. I don't know. I think, you know, I don't think it's the reason that like Rekkles is hating me because of CW. I think it's either the fact that when he joins Reddit or when he listens to people, he's always lower in placings.
Okay, so I noticed you didn't address that part. You mentioned the part about how, like, you told people on Summoning Insight, like, go ahead, ban out Caitlyn, Graves, and Lucian against me. Like, you never addressed that part. What was your reply to that? I mean, it was a bad idea now, right?
I don't know. It wasn't. I can't say it's a bad idea. I mean, it obviously came out in the end as a bad idea, but it's not that much of my responsibility how we did things as a team. We just never changed it. And I mean, I have some responsibility, like, in both ways. Like, I mean, I don't know if I shouldn't come. Like, I mean, in the end, it's my personality. Like, when I play against a player or people that I think that they're less than me as players, I mean, in a way that I think myself as a better player, let's say, than the X guy, okay? Like, I won't go to this guy and say, good game well played, I hope I play against you in the future. I'll just go and say, okay, bad game, not even well played. Like, I don't know, you're
Okay.
bad. I don't like playing against you. So that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, I never thought it would be a case that it will be continuously going on for many weeks in a row. I mean, I didn't even play to, let's say, Graves or Lucian until not even in the end of the split. It was like I got it banned like for 9 and 10 weeks. And I don't think many players get picks banned for such a long time and too many picks. Like I mean, in the second game against third game against HTK, or second in the third place match, I got 3 AD carries banned and the 4th picked first. And the same thing happened with UL in the semifinals. I mean, in the end, what should I do? I was being forced to play a 5th or 6th rated AD carry, like in power or whatever. I mean,
Okay,
I don't know.
so isn't this the case then? Okay, if that
Is
happens,
it really my bad?
if that happens to the AD carry, okay, you get all these bans against you, and you get the first pick goes to them. No problem, right? Your mid laner just picks his super strong champion that he's going to carry the game on.
Yeah.
No problem, right?
In theory, it works. In theory.
Jungler gets whatever he wants, you know.
Also, only? Huh? Sorry?
Jungler gets whatever he wants, mid laner gets whatever he wants. Yeah, that's
as
the
I
other
said,
stars
in theory,
carry, so why didn't
in
they?
theory, it works for everything.
So what was the problem with them?
know.
They should be loving you then. They should be like, Forgiven's the best teammate ever. He's getting all the bans onto him and we're getting whatever the fuck we want. This is awesome. I love playing with Forgiven.
No, you don't. I don't know. That's why, in a way, SK and Gambit are like need some deciphering. Like I mean, they're like broken codes or whatever. Like I never figured out why things went bad. Like I mean, for SK I have the most likely the patch reasoning, and in Gambit I have the transitioning from scrims to LCS. But in the end, I never got into a point. Let's say, but yeah, you know, this is the reason. That's what, let's say, we should do in my eyes. Like in SW, people were not playing League, okay? Fine, acceptable. And this affected them in their performance in LCS. We could have went higher, but they had an obvious skill cap. Honestly, I don't know. I maybe sound like a dick or whatever, but that's who I am. That's how I tell things. Sorry. So I never got to find out the reasoning. That's my opinion.
When you joined Gambit and it was going badly the first few weeks and you kept telling me like, oh, it's fucking bullshit, like I'm playing 2v4 bot lane, I actually asked Freeze on some of the insight, like what I said to Freeze, basically you're in the same position Forgiven's in, you know, everyone on the other team, especially in CW, knows like, well, Freeze is the only good player who we have to worry about, so let's definitely shut Freeze down. So I said to Freeze, how do you ever get away with it? Like, people don't always just dive you the whole time. And he basically said, well, the reason why is because I just play the game and like I shut up, you know, whereas Forgiven plays the scrims and he constantly taunts the other jungler, like, come on, I bet you want to gank me now. Why are you ganking me now? Come bot lane now. And as a result, people literally, it's like you're begging them to fuck you up.
Yeah, but they supposedly spend time on bot lane, and this time should be used equivalently on the other lanes, let's say, okay?
Okay, so same thing as with my ban.
Even if this happens, I will get ahead. Okay. I mean, at some point I will lose a lane, it's obvious. I mean, in the end, we are all human. Like, we are destined to die, let's say, at some point, okay? So, I don't know. Like, it also has to do with the fact that people are straight up afraid to lane against me. And this not only has happened in Gambit, it has happened in SK. It has happened in CW too. Like, should I go on and say about how I never played the lane phase until like week 4 or week 3 in SK? Or the same would have happened in CW? Like, I don't know. Like, I have strength, which I use it. It's like not a plug and play. It's like you either go for it or you either dodge it. If you go for it, there is a risk that you lose more than if you don't go for it, let's say. So
you think you're just some kind of godlike AD carry where, if in laning phase at least, no one can stand against you that you've played against. You can just beat them all, any matchup, any champion, you can just win laning phase, you'll always win.
I think I will start from this point. Before, when I joined CW in 2013 something.
2014.
The only
when you joined the team,
was earlier. It was Challenger, you know.
Okay, end of 2013, sure.
The only people in Europe that will play the lane aggressively, and what does aggressively mean? It means that you will contest every single creep, you will zone the setup of the enemy AD carry, so he has to make constant decisions about what to do, and so does his support. So in the end, the only thing that they can gain out of it, especially if they are on the losing side, is losing even further up to a point, but they also get the jungler down, so you attract even more pressure, so you get the top laner teleporting down or the mid laner, or in general, you apply so much pressure that at some point he will tilt and he will create so many mistakes that you will continue to take advantage of them until you snowball them into winning the game. That was the theory. And in 2013, the only lane that will do it in Europe, as far as I remember, was Freeze and Deficio, Freeze and Mythi. And when I play the game, I like to stomp my enemy. I mean, as I said multiple times in lane fights, no matter what the comp is on bot lane, I don't play winning lanes just to win them. I play lanes to win them just by challenging myself, like, in a way. And I don't think many people can lane against me in Europe, and I think it has been proven on a period of time. No matter what the support or whatever. I mean, as long as my hands are and my brain is working, I like it. That's the part that I like the most in League of Legends, lane phase.
I noticed that aside from Rekkles, and even he sort of did do so, every other interview I've ever seen with any other player, none of them ever said, even when it was going really badly in Gambit, like, oh, FORG1VEN's actually just not that good at play, you know, he's not that good. Everyone still said, no, you're a good AD carry, like, you're strong, etc. Why would they say this even when you were doing badly in results, like Gambit's losing all the time?
Because we will play in scrims, and I will go against them in scrims, and most of the points are, like, our bot lane has caused many bot lanes in Europe to rage quit scrims. So, like, I can't say how many times, or I don't remember the exact number. This happened also with SK and with W. And not only that, but it's not only the lane phase is not only the only part of the game. I mean, we will just play the game, and I will just continue to display the same quality that I have displayed for many times over the years. Because I want to be consistent. I want to be someone that someone can rely upon, and so I pay back through performing. Like, I'm not the guy, but like, don't care about the game anymore or for my team. I mean, at some point it will happen, but up until this point, I'm typical. I don't want to provide a point of weakness or something. I don't know how else to phrase it. So
you mentioned before that thing about Kalista, like, people keep telling you, like, you made it like people keep telling me this bullshit, like, play Kalista. Like, listen, you always say that, like, oh, there's no point, it wouldn't be any point learning it, but that literally, that's what Freeze said. He was like, I even told him, like, dude, you should just learn this champion, he'll carry the game. Like, that's what he was doing. Everyone had to ban for Kalista against him. He was playing fucking Kalista and Draven like every game, and he's doing great. Why can't FORG1VEN just play Kalista? Maybe, here's my theory, maybe FORG1VEN played Kalista, played it in some scrims, played it in some solo queue, and he wasn't as good as he usually is. He suddenly wasn't winning lane phase, and suddenly he was like, oh my god, everyone's going to see that I'm actually not as great as I think. Oh my god, I bet I'll go back to playing Caitlyn, whatever it is, you know.
Do you really think that is the case?
Just
if
wondering.
I'm supposedly a mechanical player?
Just wondering why. What's your problem?
I don't think I won't provide I won't say that I'm bad on the champion or whatever, but I certainly think that even if I played Kalista, I don't think anything would have changed in Gambit. I don't think Kalista would have provided us like one win or two wins or whatever.
But when I watch...
In 5 weeks, I think Kalista got nerfed.
Okay, so I watch Doublelift play Kalista, I watch Imp play Kalista. They are fucking bodying everyone on it.
Nice, in soloq. Oh, yeah, even LCS, sure, it can work.
LCS.
It can work, yeah. I didn't say the opposite. I think Kalista and Sivir and all this stuff are...
Okay.
There is a reason that they are being played and they're good.
But instead you want to play Corki like 2 months after everyone else.
Yeah, but with Corki I had 5 wins and 1 loss in LCS.
Okay,
in the split. Yeah, last split was more unfortunate. But in the end, I decide my champion pool. And then my team decides what they want me to play. But I don't offer them only Lucian and Graves, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a professional player, and a professional player always has a backup. Always has something to stick with, let's say. Imagine what would have happened in SK when I got like all the shit bans.
So there was a whole thing with Sivir where we saw certain games where people did like insane damage with Sivir. They were doing like the most damage in the whole server. If you learn the way to play it, can't you carry with Sivir?
Have you watched the stats from Europe, the split? I mean, have you checked in general? Yes, no?
What's the problem?
The reason that I ask is that in my team I had, before the last week that I played, I had 29.5 damage tilt share. with AD carries while I wasn't prioritized at all. I wasn't being involved in team fights in the first, until the end, let's say, or I didn't even play lane. So this proves something. This proves that I still am a good, obviously good player, or I still have the qualities that differ me from other people. But in the end, it has to do with how teams take advantage of it. Because I'm not the only one. It's not a 1v5 game. Just the fact that I like individuality, and because of it, I believe in myself. It doesn't mean that I view the game as 1v5. It's a team game, and team games are 5v5 for a reason. So there are other 4 brains playing with me. I can't influence every single brain to work as mine. And like, we have fucking democracy in the end. Like, I mean, everyone wants to do their own thing, so they do it. I mean, I played Sivir, and I don't know. I did things. I did downloads. Like, I had some decent KDA, I guess. I had good games on Sivir. In fact, the most wins that had to split was on Corki and Sivir, as of my AD carry picks. What else am I supposed to say or do? Like, I obviously have flaws as a player, but I have more advantages.
What do you think about the reputation that even if a good team has a worse AD carry than Forgiven, even if they could use Forgiven, he would help them and he'd make them a better team, the reason they don't want Forgiven is they think if you bring Forgiven into your team, it will just like attitude will just mess everyone up and he'll be too selfish and he won't listen to the coach. And what do you think of this? Have you heard this?
I mean, from your shows at least. I mean, the answer is pretty simple. I mean, I'm not into this game to have fun. I'm not having fun on this game since the last year or whatever. I'm just good at it. And I'm trying to make it work in a way. I just take advantage of it. And if you're not a good team, if you're a team that doesn't aim higher, don't even bother going for me. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I mean, I have proven I have worked on many teams. Sorry for using too many eyes, but I don't know how to phrase it different. So, SK was, I guess, the biggest prover. Like, even CW was one. I mean, sure, I will cause problems, but all these problems are for a reason, and I'll hate to fucking lose from teams that I perceive as bad, or even from players that I perceive as 3 times worse. It's a feeling that I don't wish to many people that they will have it in their life, not only from the game itself, but in their job. And
do you think teams have to have disagreements? Like, for example, if there's one player in the team where he's a nice guy, but he just has his own idea about the game differently, and maybe he doesn't do what the rest of the team need, or he doesn't try hard enough, is it okay to criticize that guy if you're a fellow player?
What do you mean by that?
If you're his teammate, if you have a teammate of yours and he's someone who isn't practicing hard enough, or he's a really nice guy but he doesn't always do what the coach says, or he doesn't do what the team needs in terms of its identity, is it okay to criticize that guy if you're his teammate?
Yeah, but it depends on how you do it, I guess. I mean, sometimes I'm a dick, pretty much. Or as I said, I would say, hey, I mean, why don't you play the game more? Like, like, we can win. Like, I'm not that guy. So that's why other people should have this job, and that's why coaches or staff exists or whatever. I just want to wake up one day, take my keyboard and my mouse, play the game, play it properly, and then do whatever else in my day. Like, I mean, I don't want honestly to lose more here from this type of games, because I have seen a lot of badness, and not only on LCS or whatever, but in general. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm too big of a risk for big teams, supposedly. Gambit is a big team too. I mean, they got the risk. I got suspended. Unfortunate right decision.
Do you remember a while ago? I think it was in like either late 2013 or early 2014 when that famous soloq log got released of Imp, where someone asked him about Piglet and he said like, oh, I fucking hate it when people tell me that Piglet is better than me and he is better at like, I think it said he's better at laning than me or something, and he said like it makes my blood pressure rise, and he like BM'd him, and it was actually quite famous in the Korean community that people got really upset that he would dare say this about a guy who's the champion, when you have to, as we sit right now, if I go and ask a whole bunch of people who are fans of LCS, who are the best AD carries now, and I say even only Europe, they're going to be like, okay, easy. We've got Rekkles, we've got Niels, we've got Hjarnan. You know, they're going to keep going through names like this, and they're not going to get to your name till like 5 or 6 probably. Are you okay with that? That doesn't stress you out? That doesn't piss you off? That you've got all these names above you?
Isn't my team finished like bottom 3?
Okay.
So yeah, so we did. So what else can I talk back? I can't talk back, and I shouldn't. I will be the guy that is not right. I will be at fault. So.
Okay,
and
but
I guess they're right. So I don't know. Everyone has their opinion.
Okay, but I mean, there was seasons when Faker's team finished 5th to 8th in OGN, and he was still a fucking amazing player, right?
Good for him.
So it doesn't bother you. You're just fine with everyone. Like, yeah, Hjarnan's really good. Yeah, it's an awesome player. Yeah.
And Hjarnan is good. Okay, and Freeze is good. I mean, for the rest, I can't have an opinion.
So it's fine that everyone can say Niels is awesome. Meanwhile, he has Mithy in his lane. You know.
It doesn't. It's not only Mithy, it's Niels too, but up to a point for both of them.
Oh, okay,
so
well let's give Niels unlimited and let's see how it goes, shall we?
This split, you can't simply judge a combination of bot lanes just because they're bot lanes and they're supposed to have power. It doesn't even matter. Like the game has reached the point that individuality doesn't even stand as a term anymore, and this means that you have to win together or you have to take the advantage of the mistakes of the other team or thing. I mean, I don't know how to phrase it, but they're on these teams for a reason, and since it's successful and it has been working, it's good for them. They will go to Worlds and they will do things and they will have a good life. I mean, what else is someone supposed to say? I mean, for you all and for these teams that ended up lower again, you can obviously criticize and you go on and let's say everyone can flame them for the decisions they took. But for the team that succeeded, why would you do that? Why would you change a winning recipe?
Yeah, I don't know. SK Gaming, why would you change a winning recipe? So okay, let me ask you this: when you were in CW, everyone knew, even on CW, right? Our one chance to win, it's got to be Forgiven. Like get lane swaps every single time for him, give him the champions he wants, do everything for him, get him fed. Then when you were in SK, again, everyone's letting you take control. You're getting all the champions you want. You're winning all these games. Has being in those teams and now being in Gambit, where you've had to give up this control, you had to give someone else the resources, has it made you actually appreciate more when you were in the previous teams? Do you look back fondly now, like, oh, wish I could be in that situation again?
Not really. I don't regret any of the decisions or any of my actions on anything. Like, I mean, I work on my life with no regrets, let's say, okay? And I look back, it's past, it was nice, it was fun, it was sweet. But up to life goes on and teams go on and players go on. I mean, and the best part, let's say, to focus on the in-game part is like on every single team that I played, I tried to have strategical opinion, or like I would say, like we have to play this way and we have to do that, blah blah blah. But in the start, I never got through it. I mean, I was being in the side, okay, and I just played the game, continues to play it until this became naturally the way to win games. I mean, when I joined CW, I didn't went and say, okay, guys, you babysit me, and I pick Caitlyn Karma, 2 versus 3 bot lane, etc. Please don't feed. It doesn't work like that. It didn't work like that. But in the end, it became the best possible way to win the game. So I did in SK. When I joined in SK, I didn't said, guys, you know what? I mean, play for me. I mean, I want to have really good shiny KDA so I can bully my friends, let's say. I did my part, I did my job, up until the point that the rest of the players in the team said, oh, you know what, the best way to win the game is just to help Forgiven, or like to play with Forgiven, or to include Forgiven. I didn't join one team and like everybody suddenly listened to me or whatever. Maybe it's my personality, maybe it's the way I play, or I don't know. Maybe it's unique, or maybe it's retarded. But in the end, I was just the best choice for teams just because it happened, not because of what we thought of it and we said that we're going to create a plan around it. If that doesn't tell you something...
Do you think there will ever be a time where AD carry will be the most important role in League of Legends?
There will be, but I won't be playing against. I mean, the spring split, the split ago, it was supposedly the car meta, and I guess results spoke for me. Or for many good AD carries in many regions, for Altec, for me, for Freeze, for Hjarnan. And I don't say that to prove myself as equal or whatever. Don't laugh, I heard that. Is that because I saw these people playing, and most of them played with them against, and they proven to me that they're good. They deserve. Most of the people in LCS aren't because they're the best. They're there because they're the least worst. That's how LCS is. That's how it reached as a point. I don't know. If you will have qualified for Worlds, because as of now they lost 3-0, what would we have said if UL bot lane was there? Isn't this a fucking big, how to say? Proof.
Joke?
That, not joke, it's a proof that something is going wrong, and these people shouldn't be there.
True.
Based on their skill or whatever. But they would have been. They were the most close out of everyone. Vander has reached, for example, 2 times in a row, almost qualifying for Worlds, and this guy is like top 2, top 3 support. Maybe HTK would have never went if someone tilted or whatever. It's flawed. There's something wrong, and I don't know. Maybe it's because the way I think of it, or I perceive it. Yes, team play overall. If you are weak, rely on your team to carry you, I guess.
If you really had this much success and it was so easy when you were laning against other people in Europe, does that make you really curious? What would actually happen if I could go and play a best of 5 against Uzi I or Imp or one of these sorts of guys,
The best memory in general was when I told you about it once. I would just tell you about it again. It's like when I played against international teams out of luck in 2014 when people came for Katowice and we had the luck to scrim against these teams. It was something refreshing. It was a challenge. It was something new, I wouldn't play on Europe West solo queue and I will play 2 vs 4 or whatever. I can't even train there anymore. If I play with my name, there is a word with A and in the end there is S, and there it's 4 letters. Find out. In scrims it's the same. I play with them, and I feel it's I don't know. It's I can't find a fucking example. Sorry, but it's a new me. It's I got reborn. It's the first day that I'm living. It's I'm 1 year old or something. It was refreshing. It was challenging. It was nice to play with those people. Not because I was winning with them, but it was different. It made me thought different. Maybe thought, what if? I bruised out of it.
Whenever anyone
what do I have to improve from Europe playing with some people there?
Whenever anyone asks you about moves, roster moves or something, you always mention NA. Is going to NA a dream for Forgiven?
But I think the better organizations are there. I have spoken with a lot of pro players from Europe, and they all said, NA has the organizations but doesn't have the players, and Europe has the players but doesn't have the organizations. And I tried. They tried in NA too. Maybe it wasn't karma. I don't know. At some point, but I don't think it will happen. I don't think. I don't know what's going to happen with Gambit or whatever, or if I will continue at this game. But I don't think I will ever get to play on a team like SK, or even if it is Gambit, or even if it's another one. I think I had my chance, and that was it.
So last year in 2014, CLG was doing really well in the summer split, and it all went to shit at the end, and they went out in 6th place. Then they had to play in relegations. Then in the spring split, they were doing so well, and the spring split was going so well, and at the end it goes to shit, and they go out 5th place. Same sort of shit again. At that point in time, if I was talking to Doublelift, I would tell him, if you keep playing now, only do it if you think it's fun just to play LCS, okay? Like, you don't mind how things go. Like, yeah, nice if I have a chance to win, but I'm probably not going to. Just play because it's fun, okay? I would tell him, if you really think, like, you want to win, you probably shouldn't, like, if you have to win, you're not going to enjoy the rest of your life. Like, maybe find something else to do. But, amazingly, you kept going, and after 6 splits he played, he actually won. Somehow, even a small change, he won the whole thing, even though it seemed impossible. Why is it impossible that 1 year from now, FORG1VEN can't be the champion of EULCS going to Worlds?
I don't see how things are gonna change. That's all. I mean,
okay, but isn't step 1 you don't give up?
Well, I did this split and it didn't pay out, and like, I mean, I didn't have this objective like vision that like I can gamble and join a better team or whatever. And I don't think like a top team will come to Gambit to like buy us, or I don't think Gambit
then make your team the top
will
team.
decide. No, there is no fucking way I'm gonna do that. I don't deserve this kind of shit. The thing is, it's very simple for me, you know. That's why I'm frustrated about all this shit continuously all these years. I mean, the way that I have talked right now about many things, it may sound, as I said before, as arrogant or as full of himself, or his ego is like it's like Atem, like, I mean, from Yu-Gi-Oh, you know. Sorry, but I wasn't the reason that my team failed. At least in game, I always asked for responsibility, and I never let people down. Nobody ever from any of my teams came to me and said, you know, FORG1VEN, what you did was really shit, man, and or like it was really bad. It cost us the game, cost us the series, blah blah blah. I tried, I played, I was committed to it. I sacrificed a lot of things, but at the end, if it doesn't win, it's not worth it. I simply missed too much of things. That's why being pro in LCS, and that's actually the sad thing about choosing to going pro and sacrificing, like, let's say, my education, like, because I sacrificed technological institute, you can say, like, I mean, something like university, but a bit worse in Greece, to chase, like, not a dream, but to chase this. And where does this have led? I mean, I played 3 splits, 2 relegations, 1 4th place, 2 bans, 1 fine, 1 suspension. I don't know. I guess having an individual title is salvage to everything, right? But I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. In the end, it's too much bitterness and sadness. Like, only the way that I'm talking right now, it's fucking emo. I believe so much on myself, and I never had any chance, or I mean, I never could go to people and say, you know, when I said by far, I fully believed it. It was like channeling a beast or something, and I don't know. I had the results, I had the team, I loved playing for my team, it worked, I enjoyed it. And now this is this thingy that I don't know from where to look at it, from how to look at it, how to find something on it.
So what does that mean? What does that mean?
That means that I believe at some point I will retire, not because I want to, but because in the end it will be too much of fucking bullshit and sadness. Because I certainly don't think that I deserve all of this kind of shit. Not only from the game, but also from the company which I play for. But that's how I see it. And even if my logic is flawed, I don't know. And it is sad for someone to believe that you're good at it, and you never had a chance to fucking win a title. I mean, just go take a step back and go and check the 80 guys that have won, let's say, a split in NA or a split in Europe, and check their names and compare it with, not only with me, but with people, let's say, with Freeze, because he's your second Jedi. I don't know. Compare them, and
so okay then. Let me ask you this: in the future, let's say you do hypothetically. Let's say you do keep playing LCS, and so to play LCS, it's really you've always said this in all your interviews, SI. It's really important to play lots of solo queue if you're an LCS player, right? You have to try and be challenger.
Yeah. If you want to call yourself a professional, at least.
So to do that, that's a really important part of your practice. So in the future, if you do it, can you really just make yourself not ever rage at people, not ever say anything that's a curse word or an insult? Can you just say like, please don't do that again, or just not say anything whatsoever? And so, can you be like Genji? Just don't ever even type to anyone. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Just farm out the wave and just always play AD carry every role.
The best part about all of this toxicity thinking, there have been people in LCS that have used, or like they could ban for sexism or racist comments on, based on nationality or racism, or like you get it. I mean, sexual or whatever. The only thing that I have done all these years is that when I play solo queue and I play with fucking bad player, and this guy destroys my training, because solo queue for every player is the most important tool, not only for the LCS player but even for the people outside. And he fucking destroys the whole game. The first thing that I will say, especially let's say if it is a throw or something, and I really try hard to win the game, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is this? Like, I mean, I won't go and say, it was really unfortunate and unlucky game, and next time will be better, or all this shit. It can work if I'm on a team that I'm winning, so my frustration is to ult somewhere else. Because I'm a player that I'm severely controlled by emotions. Sometimes, or most
Have you ever tried doing like meditation or get therapy or something?
You don't suspend someone that 1 month ago you come at him and you say to him, you're the most improved player in terms of behavior. You don't do it. Not like that. Not without a warning. Because this not only affected my team, and not only me, it's affected my team. Even if it was a dumb move from me, or whatever for the rules, which I obviously disagree with, and they should accept the fact that it's different. It's not about being allowed to flame or to behave badly or whatever. You have to fix this system. You have to protect those players. If it is me now, it will be more players in the future. Just because you don't see cases, it doesn't mean that most of the players in Europe have got several warnings for their supposedly bad behavior. It fucked my team, and they have done it with Gambit many times in a row. And what do they have to do with that? Why don't you give me fucking community hours of service or whatever? If you wanted to be severe, you're setting a bad example, but you obviously set a bad example for your company too.
If they'd warned you, would you have done something differently?
What?
If they warned you?
What is going to happen is most likely is because I don't intend that amount of changing when someone says to me, but because when I got first time fined about it, I worked around it and I did things, I even went to a neurologist for my nerves or whatever, to learn how to deal with bad players or the bad solitude system. Even if you believe it or not, yeah, I actually did it because I cared.
You went to what, a psychologist or something?
No, these people that make you find a way to manage your nerves. I don't know how it's called in English.
Okay.
And it worked. In SK it worked, but I joined Gambit, and we were losing in Gambit, and everything is going to shit, and then, literally it goes to shit, and then... I already said enough. I maybe become the future case that I will be the first perma-banned player, but I already played the splits, but I wasn't being prevented from playing that. I will be banned after I played with them.
Actually, I've got a question about when you were in SK. I've got a question for you. So when SK was doing well in Season 4, and obviously that lineup hadn't been expected that it was going to be really good, and they're coming first place, they're coming top 3. One of the reasons that kept being brought up over and over by SK themselves is they kept sort of almost bragging, like, wow, look, we've got this sports psychologist and he's working with everyone. And then in interviews he's saying like, yeah, well, what I do is I work with the guys.
He wasn't living with us.
So listen, this is the question. So he's always like, what I do is I work with them and I try and find ways to, how are we going to manage trusting teammates, and what are we going to do when we lose? And that's all great, right? That's all dynamite stuff. Keep doing that stuff. But then in SK spring split, you had the best team in the whole league, and then the whole thing collapsed, and it looked like people mentally collapsed. Did the sports psychologist, was it not working with him? What was the issue there?
He wasn't living with us. He wasn't living with us. How can someone have? I mean, he's good. I mean, when he came, I saw this guy was quality. I mean, he was good. He wasn't just like a random, well, just wanted to spend time or whatever. He was good. I mean, Lucas was good, but he wasn't living with us. So how can he manage to have an outcome or an influence on us? I mean, in the previous splits, when in SK, the previous splits, he was living with them in Cologne. And main teams he from, so I guess he helped them.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question. So I don't know if you know this, but even now, even when things have gone to shit, even when everyone, like people were saying you suck and you can't play, and you know Eddie Carey will never carry again, Monte Cristo is still a huge fan of Forgiven, and he even likes your attitude and thinks like it's great that you think you want to be the best player and you're working really hard. Hypothetically, if you were in a world where Monte Cristo was your coach, you think it would actually work? Do you think he has a different? Do you think he has some different view on you to reality? What do you think?
The worst part is that letting other people down when they believe in you. I mean, okay, let's say Monte Cristo likes me or whatever, you know, and he admires my play or my playstyle or whatever. Yeah. How am I supposed to pay back what he likes?
What is all this paying back? Why is everything about exchange for you? Forgiven, you were born in the world. You didn't ask to be born in the world. You were born. People give you nothing in the world. They give you nothing. You have to take everything from the world. No one gave you fucking anything. You take everything you need and you impose yourself. And at the end, then people remember you. Whereas before you were nothing. You were just an ant. You don't agree? You think you owe everyone in your life. Oh, I owe this guy I got from soloq. Then this guy over here brought me into the team, so I owe him. Oh, and I owe this person because he believed in me. Maybe they do that for a reason.
The thing is, we have reached the point that I'm playing. It's not my first split or whatever, you know, and sure. I'm not intending on changing that much because I have found a formula that works for me. I mean. And this formula includes that I won't have, like, let's say, problems with Riot or with our behavior department, which I never met or whatever. But for me, I play this game for so many years and I have committed so much, like literally so much. I mean, I have only one living relative, like my father, you know, and taking a decision to going pro and leaving him behind is not something that it's easy. And when I was in SK, and I didn't want to win only because I consider myself the best in my role or whatever, but because I wanted to bring to him something back. I mean, you know, this decision that I took as a young boy, let's say, when I was 14 or 15 years old, it paid back at some point. And as I said ago, like I play for so much, and that wasn't a problem in my teams in terms of performance. Yeah, sure, my attitude, yeah, sure. I could have been less of a dick or less of an ass. You can call me, I don't know. You can find phrases in English which I can't, but the only thing is that it's too much for me to handle at some point. And then on top of it, you have, the behavior department. And just because I'm a whiner, soloq, that's actually the whole truth for the people. If you want, you can go to Riot and ask them why don't they ban me or whatever. Like, those people there, 1 month ago, before I get banned, they come to me and say, you're the most improved player in terms of behavior in the history of LCS. And in their announcement, when I got fined, they wrote somehow that I was like in top 1.5% of toxicity or something. Just because I went, just because I deviate again from this point. When I'm going to my neighborhood to play football with guys that I don't know, and a specific player makes 2 or 3 wrong passes, crosses, he gives, like, for fun, some goals to the enemy team, I won't be the guy that will tell him, like, hey man, step up, like, it's your time, you know? Fuck off! Like, go sit in the fucking bench, you're destroying my game, you're destroying my fun, I'm not having fun, you're actually making me frustrated. And I already have too much frustration out of many things in the league. When you're winning, it's easy. It really is easy for a lot of teams. But when you are losing for way too long, it's unbearable at some point. It's unbearable because the people in Gambit, it was the best organization I've ever played. Do you know how fucking much it sucks to not perform?
Is it true that there are players in LCS, maybe even famous players, where for them, it's just a job, you know, like maybe one
Yeah,
day a long
obviously.
time ago they wanted to win, but now, you know, they don't think they can win, or they just play and they're like, oh, whatever happens, happens. And it's really chilled out for them. It's not a big deal.
They take it for granted, and I won't speak for specific players. I don't know most of them, or I don't care also. Like, I mean, but they take it for granted. Those people are one of the 50 players that are getting paid to play on streams that they're watching them. They can. It's. I mean, being a pro player in LCS is not as. It's not as like fantastic as it sounds. It doesn't pay you back that much. It also keeps you behind in many terms, mostly on your life, in general, in the gaming. But when I see people that they take this for granted and they only play in LCS just to gain a track, just because they're not getting replaced or they don't, I don't know. I mean, when I will consider myself a really bad player, because right now I'm not even like top 2 or top 3. My confidence, it's reached some point when it's fucking disaster. I mean, at some point when I will consider myself really bad, I will step aside just because someone that is younger and can be better, I won't take his place just to take money. I don't need fucking money. Like, what the fuck? Like, if money is the number one motive in the world just because it's the currency or change, like, I don't know. I mean, it is really sad. It's really sad. I mean, at some point in our life, we have to have ethics. Like, I mean, I'm really glad, for example, that I'm one of the 50 players, but I'm for a reason there. And I'm worth of either my money or my place every single day. I want to know that I'm not keeping someone behind if he had the chance. I deserve it.
What did you think of playing with Edward?
I think it was the most fun I had. I mean, it was the best thing I have ever had the luck to play with on a team. I mean, in the start, it was really hard, you know. I mean, we had problems, like, because Edward, I mean, I have a really weird way on playing support in Monte lane, and Edward was the previous Ed carries that he played with didn't give a fuck a lot. And like I had this task of like playing with him and playing for me and finding a way to work into this team and shit. And but after a point, I mean, the only reason that I can imagine of that I remember myself in Gambit having fun was when I was playing with Edward, duo queue, or like I mean I was playing with him. I mean, we weren't that much successful, but for many reasons. But for example, if it was like a lane phase meta or a 2v2 meta, or we have had the chance to actually play, let's say, lane phase, because he also likes it, even if he doesn't say it, just because I'm outspoken, doesn't mean that like I deviated again. Sorry. It was certainly really nice. I mean, I wanted to do it for a long time. It is maybe an unfortunate period of this happening, but I obviously don't regret it, because I also kept Edward in the team, and I don't know if people believe it or not, but Gambit considered replacing Edward before I joined, and I joined, and I was like, I can make Edward work. I can help him. He can help me too. We can find our way. We did it. It wasn't like by far the best bottom or whatever. It was more conservative. It was discipline. I don't think like if you go and ask people from European split from this split, they will say like, "FORG1VEN that were less than top 3 or something."
Every time I ever talked to Edward, no matter what period of time, he always thinks that like my team's good, my team's getting better, my team's going to be the best, no matter who it is. Like, I even make fun of him sometimes when he says it. Like, if he says about a player now, like, oh, we're going to be better, I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go down the list. Okay, you told me that about Cubon, you told me that about Neek, you told me that, you know, I go through all the names. Like, you told me that about fucking Pinoy. Like, come on, Edward, you tell me every one of these guys is going to be great and the whole team's going to be amazing, and it's never working out, you know. Is he really like that as a person, do you think? Is he just is he like ridiculously confident or something? What is the deal with him? Can you explain
He's easy to work with. He's easy to work with. That's all I can say. When I heard people saying, for example, some years ago that I thought is toxic and shit, and I played with him now on the team, I mean, depends on if you consider, for example, me toxic or whatever. I didn't have trouble working with him at all. And not only that, but I also enjoyed the time that I had with him outside of the game. We were friends. Like, I mean, and this is fucking rare to see this, because many people are like backstabby or whatever. I mean, I was friends with nRated and Unlimited too, but not up to that extent. we were having fun. Like, only the fact now that I'm actually smiling is indicative. Like, I mean, he improved. I asked him, he asked me, we adjusted, we improved. We liked playing together. It was really fucking sad that we couldn't do what we wanted to do, because obviously also Edward is not satisfied with the way that things went, in a way that, like, if you do an interview with him or whatever and you ask him, like, what do you think of your bot lane with FORG1VEN, I don't think he's gonna say something different than, like, our team he's not gonna say the exact words, but he's gonna say our team in a way restricted us, and also the meta was fucking sucking. It was just really fucking bad. Sorry for swearing, but it is really bad. I mean, League has gotten to a point that I don't even recognize the game anymore at some point. But I don't regret even for a second that I played with Edward. That's all.
So everyone, ever since you started posting those screenshots of Hearts of the Heroes of the Storm, people have been saying all this stuff like, oh, FORG1VEN was like, he got to global elite in CSGO, and then now he's playing HOTS and he's got all this high up. Like, he must just be some sort of like gaming talent, like a gaming genius. Any game you play, you just get really good at. Is this true?
Yeah. I mean, I was playing Counter-Strike 1.6. I reached global elite in 28 games in CSGO. I got things on League 2, I got rank 1 on HOTS 2, like 4,000 MMR shit. Just indicated, you know, like because I always look at it to see if it's actually worth it to speak about it. Like, I'm just competitive on every game that I play. I like it, and that's the thing behind games. I don't only want to do it to spend my spare time or my job time or whatever. I want to be good at it. And when I enjoy it, I will naturally get better at it. And that's how I think many people work in general.
So whenever people told me about HOTS when they were first playing it, they all told me that this is the opposite of the sort of game anyone who wants to carry should ever play. Like, the way this game works, it's more like you have to have the best team, because all, you know, there's like, you can't get like more experience than everyone else and stuff. Like, so how the fuck does it FORG1VEN, who wants to contest every creep, play a game like that?
So because I was good at one thing, let's say, or one playstyle on League of Legends, does this mean that it will transition to another game?
You told me.
I tell you, I don't. I mean, it's kind of an answer question in a way, because I played different games, different styles of different. Like, I mean, there's no relation between CS:GO or CS 1.6 and League of Legends and Dota and all this. There's no complete relationship between them. There's nothing in common. But I get to understand the game as its mindset. If I ever get to play in HOTS, it won't necessarily be I'll play like a AD carry or a ranged assassin, as they call it. I will find something that works, and I will be good at it.
So if you can play all these games, if it was me, I'd tell you, right, if you're going to leave League of Legends, here's the two games you should play. Either CSGO or Dota 2. Because in CSGO, it's true you need a good team to do well, but even the worst team in the world can't completely wreck your solo game. Like, if you really have good skills, you can still get kills, you can still do impact stuff, you can still have a chance, basically. There's no such thing as a meta which fucks one player over, okay? Now, in Dota, you still need a team, but Dota, compared to League, the really, really godlike carry guy, even if he's behind in the game, they can still funnel everything into him, they can still try and get him really fed, still give him a chance to carry the game. Wouldn't these sorts of games be better for your kind of mentality in terms of League?
The truth is, man, after all this, I mean, it is up to me in a way, you know, but, like, the reason that I will eventually get out of League of Legends is not because I hate the game even if I don't have fun on it, is because that I haven't found success. Or nothing more than individuality, or nothing more than individual title. And I don't see how this can change. I don't see, for example, how can a team will come and say, you know, FORG1VEN, you want to join us, for example, and be top 1 or top 2. And I don't see, for example, how Gambit are going to change, because I don't think this current lineup can go higher, to be honest. It's not because I don't believe in my teammates or something, it's because I tend to believe so. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm a dick again, or maybe I'm like so full of myself. So I can't actually answer you directly that question.
So okay, since you haven't qualified for Worlds and it's the off season, why isn't Forgiven just streaming every day? Title best AD carry in the world, better than Rekkles. And then when he's streaming, like guys, check out my new T-shirt for sale. Best AD carry by far productions. You know why haven't you pimped out your whole brand and made a load of money off idiots buying your by far T-shirts, etc.
I don't think it will be the best thing for me to stream, and also I can't stream from the place that I live. I live in a suburb in Greece, and I don't have a European connection called VDSL. Like my literal upload speed on the place that I live is less than 1 megabps, or like how.
But it's enough to play
megabits.
League though.
It is. I am actually playing with, like, I mean, you already know. I mean, and Reddit knows too. Hi Reddit, but like, I'm playing from the place that I live with like 120 and 30 ping.
And is it still easy to stay in Challenger?
Well, if you see me there, like right now, I'm not playing. I have to play the game since I got suspended, but I got first, and with this ping, why wouldn't I get it again? I can do it over and over. It's like a bicycle. You don't forget it.
If
I don't know how to say it.
if people like Rekkles, Hjarnan, all the players in Europe, if they all really tried their hardest at solo queue, people didn't just play for fun or just play 5 games or something. If they all really went their hardest, would the absolute best players be the only ones who got to the top of the solo queue?
What do you mean by that? Sorry, I didn't understand again. I'm a bit dumb. Can you repeat or rephrase?
Like, do you think that solo queue actually does reward the best players?
No, obviously, it's shit. The system is completely flawed.
Okay, but if everyone played an equal amount,
I don't think if you ask any professional player,
okay,
I don't think anybody will say that this current system with league points or tiers or divisions is intending or is being created to show who is the best. I think the Elo system was the best. And I wasn't even first, let's say, when it was Elo system, it was just more accurate. I don't think if you go into the Challenger solo queue ladder or West like for a year or more, you will find players that you can say they can make a difference. And say, sure, they exist, but how many are there? How many solo queue players the last years or last 2 came from solo and made a difference? And I don't want you to tell me, let's say, 1 or 2 cases, but more. I don't think this system is created properly, and I think it should change, but I don't think it will. Whatever you say against the people that are working there, they don't accept a second opinion. They don't accept anything.
if you could, if tomorrow, okay, well, let's forget tomorrow. Let's say next year when your contract ends, okay, every player in league gets released at the same time, and before everyone signs to the new teams, someone comes along, some guy from Dubai who's a millionaire and he has all this money, and he says, right, a big fan of Forgiven, I want to make the best team for you, like just build the team around you, bro. So you just pick the players that this team you could be the best. Who would you want around you?
Why are you so insisting on me creating a team rather than being a part of a successful team or joining a team? FORG1VEN did it. It doesn't work, and I don't think it will work. And I don't think I'm a leader.
Okay, then which team should you join?
I know my limits as a player. I know what I do good, and I know what I do bad.
So which team could you join and make a champion?
It's not about joining. That's actually the truth. I'm speaking right now as if I'm a former player.
Okay.
Not if as I'm a current.
Right.
I intend to play my last split, let's say, of my contract with Gambit. The thing is, are Gambit going to make changes? I don't know, and I shouldn't be the one having a say, and I don't want to have a say, as I didn't have many teams. Do I believe that, for example, the top team from NA or the top team from EU, but EU is only Fnatic, fuck it, like, go everywhere, otherwise, like, do I believe that the top team from NA will give me a chance to be the best again? No, I don't think so. That's what I said before. I intend to play, but how I see it, the odds are not favorable for me to be happy and to be successful. And I don't value money that much. In CW and SK, I was the lowest paid player there. I mean, and I'm certainly not earning a lot of money, so I don't know. In the end, that's why I said before that, like, Gambit is a great organization, and sure, the players are great too. I mean, everyone was top like 30 or 14 soloq on West, but it doesn't work. And maybe I came on the problem, and if I'm the problem again, it's becoming a trend. And I don't think me being on teams, if I'm indeed the problem, is good. And I can't even say that I'm actually the problem because I don't even know what to say anymore. And it's like a fucking puzzle, and I can't even find a way to solve it.
Do you have at the end of this interview, do you have a final message for everyone who watched?
But what should I say? Like, I don't know. I mean, it was fun, like whenever I come here, I always feel like I talk my heart out in a way. So thank you for helping me doing that. I mean, you get the best out of me. And in general, I tried. I mean, that's all I can say. I tried. I won't say that I'm sorry, and I won't say that I regret doing things or getting banned, but as it currently stands, I don't see how I can have a successful career. I can continue to have a successful career as a Glitch player. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I can't see how. And yes, some of the things that I say may sound, as I said, arrogant or trash talk or whatever, but I believe in myself up until I lose confidence in myself, and this is the first time that it happened in this split. Up until now, I couldn't be breached in my mentality from anything. So I don't know if Gambit or another team wants to go for first place. We can see about it, but if not, it was fun while it lasted.
Efresto?
It's Efharisto, by the way.
Efhasto?
And you said something. You said another word when I made this call.
What are you talking
about? It's like something gade. Just pronounce it. It's okay. I can help you.
I don't remember what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's like I don't remember. It's like adega. Like I don't know adega. But I think you should say it so we can close properly. Or
let me find what it was. Let's see. What was it? Oh, Ayagamusu. Just for all the Greek people out there. Is that the end? Just end on that.
Bye.